Ultimate Baby Sleep Group. How are you? I've missed all of you. I haven't had a voice all week, so I wasn't able to come in here and do my normal videos and answers to all of your questions and the things we normally have going on here in the group because I was sick. I had a fever off and on. I still have like spouts of this leftover cold here that we have here, and I literally did not have a voice, like at all. So that's why I've been a little bit missing in action this week, plus there was a lot going on in general. So I wanted to tell you all that I missed you a lot, and I'm happy to have my voice back. My voice is 100% everything that I need on a daily basis at all times, all the time. So let me pull up everything here so I can see who is watching. I was running actually even a few minutes late over here. So I wanted to make sure I had a cup of tea so I had a full voice that I could talk to you all about. All right, so number one, for those of you who are new to the group, I want to just remind you all how this group works and how it goes down here. Number one is when you use hashtag SleepQ, I come in a few times a week and I pick a few random hashtag SleepQ questions and I answer them in a video. This week I wasn't able to, again, just explain why, because I was sick, I didn't have a voice, and I had a fever and I wasn't even doing any videos. I just put some bright lipstick on to make myself feel a little bit more alive. I'm still a bit under the weather, but I missed you all and wanted to come in and say hello. So that's the first thing, is use hashtag SleepQ. It grabs my attention, grabs the other admin's attention, but like I said, usually when I'm not sick, I come in a few times a week and pick a few hashtag SleepQ questions at random to answer you, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is we have our Monday topic question threads. This week, I'm a little surprised that this week was not something that you all wanted to learn more about, because I see posts about this a lot. Maybe a lot of you didn't see it, but every Monday we post a certain topic thread that we open up in the group, and then I come in and I answer you. So this week, sometimes it's newborns, cat naps, night wake ups, you know, whatever the case may be. This week is being scared of the dark, which is a major fear with a lot of young children. It can start as early as 3, 4, last all the way till 10, 11, 12. So I'm surprised there weren't more questions about this, but that's okay. I'm still going to come in and answer you. A few of you actually messaged me privately that you weren't comfortable posting your question, so I'll still read your question and keep you anonymous, and tag a few of you who I think would be interested just in hearing about this in general. So before I begin, I want to make sure everyone can see me, everybody can hear me. So if you are watching live, say hi in the comments below, or give me a few thumbs up or a few hearts so I know that everything's going well here, because sometimes I talk to the air or cyberspace here over here on Facebook in our group. I want to make sure you're all there with me. All right. So that's that. So like I had said, oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay. So like I had said, I apologize that I've missed you all, that I haven't been here, but we'll get back into action probably next week. We'll start getting in groove again. I'll have a few exciting things was starting to work on before I got sick that will start brewing again, and I'll be coming in here again most days to answer your hashtag SleepQ questions and get your sleep going over here. All right. So I'm going to start digging in. Now this week's topic thread was being scared of the dark, okay? Now, when a child is scared of the dark, it's a real fear. It's an avid, real reality for them. So a lot of parents, tell me, well, I told my child was scared of monsters. I told them just to get over it. Or my child was nervous that they couldn't see something. I told them they were safe. They were fine. But it's almost an irrational thought. As much as it's rational to them, it's irrational to us as parents, because we don't understand why they're scared, or we don't understand why their fear just can't alleviate. But when push comes to shove, it's something that really exists for them, and we have to be mindful of that, and we want to be aware of their emotions and cater to them, because if you just push it all under the rug, their fears are only going to manifest even more, which could potentially even create an anxiety with sleep. And as you all know, who've been following me for some time or know how I feel about anything, sleep should never have any negative connotation, right? We want sleep just to be a normal part of life. Just like we brush our teeth when we wake up, we eat dinner, we do different things. We want to do whatever we can to make sure that sleep is just a normal spectrum out there, just part of our day-to-day things. We wear a sweater in the winters. We also go to sleep when it's time to go to sleep. Megan, I see your question. I'm going to answer you in a minute. I want to just go through this. Your 10-month-old's finally sleeping through the night. You cut out night feeding successfully. Yay, Megan, I'm so happy. I thought you had a question. I'm so happy. Keep up the amazing job. I'm happy this group was able to help you. Okay, but back to, I'm happy. So always post your wins, by the way, everybody. I see all the posts about what the struggles, the challenges. When you have successes from all the advice here in the group, my videos, the admins, the other amazing moms, tell us. Let us know, because we want to hear about your successes. Okay, but anyway, back to this. So we want to make sure that we don't just push their emotions under the rug with everything in life, always. always, okay? But sleep especially, because we don't want to foster any negativity or any anxiety around sleep, because that would potentially have a child that has real developmental sleep issues, that fights bedtime, wakes up frequently throughout the night, when really all you had to do was help them get over this fear, okay? So we're going to talk about a few examples and we'll dig in. I'm going to start with Rachel's question. She was the only one who actually posted a question for the first time, I think, in a year. The first time we have only one question in one of our topic threads. That's okay. That's all right. We're still going to talk about it. All right. So Rachel, I'm going to read your question start to finish because you're the only one in here. And then I will read one or two of the ones of people who messaged me privately who didn't want to share this publicly. Okay. Rachel. My 5-year-old has started waking up during the night saying he's scared. Sometimes he's scared of something specific. Sometimes he says he has a bad dream. Sometimes he just says he's scared in general. Some nights he wakes up and calls me in and goes right back to sleep. Some nights he's up 4 or 5 times calling me in and coming into our room. He usually wants me and not daddy. We've tried a stickered reward chart for nights that he sleeps through the night. It's worked some. Some nights he doesn't seem to care about the chart and just wants us. He's also developing more fears in general during the day. I know this can be a normal time to start developing more fears. What's normal for day and nighttime fears? At what point to the possibility of an anxiety issue? Great question, Rachel. How can sleep-deprived parents, we also have a 10-month-old that wakes up frequently at night, help our 5-year-old get well rested and not be so fearful? Really good questions here, Rachel, because like I said, it's real, right? And you don't want it to develop and fester into this really deep-rooted anxiety where your child is fighting sleep and having all of these other issues combined, because that's only going to make things more complicated and more frustrating for him. So, number one is being aware that his emotions are real. Number one, talk to him, Rachel, during the daytime about those fears and try to pinpoint exactly what it is that is scaring him, okay? What did he say? He wakes up calling you. You didn't say exactly what it is, but where are these fears stemming from? Have a conversation with him. He's 5 years old, right? He's not a 2-year-old. He can very, very much articulate to you what it is that's bothering him. Talk to him. Is it monsters? Is it the dark? Is it something that he's scared he can't see? Is it airplanes? Is it bugs? Is it spiders? Is it dogs? Is it a robber? You know, what is it? Is he scared there's going to be a fire? Like, everyone has, don't give him ideas, obviously. You don't want to put ideas into his head of potentially what he could be scared of. But you want to really help hone in on what specifically is the issue that he's afraid of, because then you have something to work with. If he's just like scared of the world, then you don't have any ammunition to work with to try to help him get over that fear. So sit down and have a talk with him. Be like, you know what is it about it that scares you? Be open. Let him feel like he can openly communicate to you so he can talk to you about it. Because usually children have a specific point or points that it's kind of offshooting from that is scaring them, okay? So that's step number one. Once you've figured out what that is, the most important thing with children who suffer from nighttime anxiety, and it's not at the point of anxiety or fears or scared of the dark, is that they need to be able to conquer their demons on their own. As much as you tell them they're safe, as much as you tell them there's not going to be a fire, as much as you tell them that there's no bugs that are going to come to them in the middle of the night, as much as you tell them there's no monsters in the closet, it doesn't matter, because they don't think that you can help them, because they know this scary monster comes out in the middle of the night when mommy and daddy aren't there. They know the dark is scary. So as much as you try to alleviate their fear by saying, it's okay, you're fine, it's not happening, that doesn't mean anything to them. They need to independently have the tools to combat that fear so they feel empowered and they have a sense of control over it independently. So after you've figured out what it is that scares him, let's say he's scared of spiders. Let's say he's scared in the middle of the night. When he wakes up, he hears this noise, could be the air conditioning, could be the heat, could be a fan, could be something that's psychological, not really a noise he hears, and he thinks it's little spiders walking across the floor in his room, and oh my gosh, I'm scared there's spiders. As much as you tell him there's no spiders, it doesn't matter what you say, because it's a real reality for him. He thinks there are spiders. So what can you do to help him realize that there aren't any spiders? You can't get rid of the reality for him. It exists. You can give him the tools to combat it, to feel strong, empowered, and secure that he's able to battle those things. So what do? Get completely creative. Make a spray. It could be water bottle you put in before bed, and you spray it around the room. And oh my gosh, it's exactly it's an anti-spider repellent, because this specific spray, spiders cannot go anywhere near because there's a specific chemical in it, whatever. You don't want to lie, but you want to get creative. This is a spray that spiders don't go near. You're not lying, because there aren't any spiders anyway, right? But you're making him feel empowered. Let him go around the room and spray it. Put a sign on the door. If he's scared of bad dreams or he's scared of airplanes or something, no airplanes allowed in this room. Airplanes cannot go in. This is an anti-airplane room. You can take tape. I've done this with one of my kids who had a totally irrational fear of a truck driving into his room at night. This kid, it wasn't anxiety. He was about 5, 6 years old at the time. We took bright orange tape and put it on the floor, around his bed, and happens to be, it's the exact same kind of orange tape that trucks cannot drive near, right? They're young enough that you can typically, maybe not 5, but when they're in the 3s, 4s, you can typically use your creativity to help them do it, and let them be involved in the process. Let your son feel involved in the process. Let him be able to help you set things up so he feels like he's in control and he's able to combat these fears, because you're giving him a tool for life that, yes, I might be scared of something. Yes, there might be a real avid fear here, but I have the independent tools and the independent skills to be able to battle this on my own and make sure that this fear doesn't overtake me. And that's a skill you can give children for life. And that's when you're going to stop it, Rachel, from becoming a real full-fledged anxiety, because it's not going to get to a point of anxiety because you're letting him not be scared, okay? And that's the same thing that can, filter itself in during the day. This is bedtime nights when children are, obviously, all of us are in a more sensitive state. Things that might scare us or bother us might kind of be exacerbated in the middle of the night when we're not in our prime state. We're not 100% like psychologically and intellectually on par. But you can incorporate the same ideas during the day. Excuse me, my cold is still a little bit here. You can incorporate the same ideas during the day by giving him control. Don't negate his feelings. Don't negate his fears. Don't tell him that they're not there. Empower him to fight them and battle them. Whether you make a book about 5-year-old boy fights the spiders or whatever it is, make him feel strong, because as adults even, the most important tool we ever have in life is to feel empowered against our own negativity, right? And I'm not going to get into a whole psychological talk here. The purpose of this group is to talk about sleep, but when you enable your children to be able to realize that the negativity is there, realize the fear is there, and give them the tools to be able to battle it, you're empowering them for life. You're giving them a skill for life aside from sleep. And you're also enabling your child to learn how to conquer their fears at bedtime, in the middle of the night, when fears are often at their peak. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. I'm going to read another question. This person sent me a private question. They didn't want me to say their name, but I'm still going to read the question. Okay. All right. My 6-year-old recently started waking up often being scared. We validate his fears and then assure him that he's safe. At times he wants to move to our other children's bedrooms and sleep there because he feels safer on our side of the house. So I guess he's on a side of his own. Okay. His fears include robbers, kidnappers, animals coming in, etc. All things he's been picking up from stories, videos, which we now try to monitor strongly to make sure that there's not a hint of something remotely scary from the school and from things from school. So he's scared of anything he's basically learned, robbers, animals, anything that he feels. And okay, you want to try to monitor, obviously, content. That's a big point also with you, Rachel. You have no idea what affects our children and what influences them. So you want to make sure that anything that potentially you think would be scary or could cause anxiety or disruption or fears, obviously you're trying to minimize that as possible. Our children are very influential, and especially a child that already has a pre-existing notion to be a little bit more on the scared side, be more careful, be more cautious, okay? So now my 4 and 2-year-old children are starting to pick up on his fears and wake up as well, saying, I'm scared, from shadows, the window, animals getting in, imaginary bugs. So we're waking up multiple times a night and starting to feel desperate for our nights again. Okay, so for Miss Anonymous Mom over here who sent this, same thing. Okay, you clearly know what the fears are coming from. It sounds like your 6-year-old is the culprit here to kind of influence the younger kids as well. So you want to sit everybody down, talk about their fears, talk about what they are, tell them, I understand, wow, yeah, that must feel really scary, and then make a game plan, getting super creative, what you can do to combat these fears. Let everyone feel armed and ready with their, empowered items that you use to help them, okay? Whether it's a spray or a tape, like I said, or a sign, or use your own thing. It could be a pillow, a special blanket. It could be, oh my gosh, it could be anything. It could be this specific pen that when you hold it, nothing, you know what I mean? You're just getting creative to give them that sense of control, because that's what children crave so much, okay? Because this is when, and this is a very critical point, when a child has nighttime fears or nighttime anxieties, very different than night terrors. If you're not sure if your child suffers from nightmares or night terrors or fear, watch our video in here we have, or go to the YouTube channel about nightmares versus night terrors, because it's a very big difference. We're talking here about fears, anxieties, and nightmares, okay? So when your child suffers from such a thing, you want to nip it in the bud now to give them that control so that it doesn't potentially turn into a full-fledged anxiety, when oftentimes children will fight sleep for hours, be up for hours, and it can develop very negative psychological things as well. Nip it in the bud here. It's normal. Yes, it's normal for kids to be scared of the dark. It's normal for kids to have scary dreams. It's normal for kids to feel like something is scary and something's happening and there might be an animal or a robber or this. So minimize content as much as possible so your children are not influenced for anything negative. Find out what it is exactly that's bothering them and what it is that's scaring them. And then, on the same token, make a solid game plan to empower them, to make them feel like they can battle their demons on their own. Because you can't do it for them. As they get older, as kids get stronger, we can't always fight our kids' battles for them. But what we can do is give them the tools to empower them. And this really can start as young as even a 2 or 3-year-old. Okay, a 2-year-old pretty little, but even in such a case, if they're scared of something, give them a teddy bear they can snuggle up to that makes them feel safe, that is so strong and protects them. Obviously, all age appropriate. As kids get older, it's a little bit more difficult to get more creative because they're smarter. But even, for example, my 9-year-old had a scary dream the other night. Maybe she had watched a video or something had happened, or even she heard someone talking about a story in school, and she was nervous about like our house being safe. So we went around, right? Age appropriate. I'm not going to give her a ridiculous spray bottle and tell her this is going to be the anti-repellent for something, because she knows that's not true. And again, I'm not lying. We're never lying. We never lie to our children. But you get creative to make them feel empowered. Of course, this is an anti-repellent because this spray no trucks go near, because there aren't any trucks in your room, right? There's no trucks in your room at all. One of my kids used to and I'll get back to my 9-year-old in a second. I remember at a time he must have been like 5, maybe 4. He used to, at bedtime, magically get this horrible stomach ache. So funny, right? This isn't a fear, but it's along the same lines. Every night at bedtime, oh, my stomach hurts so much. And you know what? I can't say that he wasn't telling the truth. It could be. He has convinced himself to such a point that his stomach really hurts every night at bedtime. So what do? We got special pajamas there. I put an X across his tummy. And when he wore those pajamas, those were the pajamas that made sure his stomach didn't hurt. A special pillow that made sure his stomach didn't hurt, right? Because you're working with their logic and their rationale for a reality that really exists for them. Okay, so back to my 9-year-old. So in her case, I can't do something like that. I can't say, well, when I put this sign on the door and you're safe, because it's real. She's older. She understands what's happening. She's already 10 and a half at this point. So we went around the house. We checked that all the windows were locked. We checked that all the doors were locked. I showed her how locks work. I tried to work with her brain on her level and explain to her that you are safe. This is okay. This is how locks work. No one can get in. We have police stations over here and lights in the street, and work with her so she's not scared, because nighttime is always the time that children's brains start thinking about their day. They start thinking about things just like we do. Things are bothering them, and that's when fears can often show their ugly heads and they can pop out. So you want to work with your child for where they are intellectually on par, where they are developmentally, and what their fear is to help make them feel empowered. Okay? Hope that makes sense to all of you. Like I said, there weren't tons of questions on this, which was surprising for me because I know a lot of you have a lot of 5-6-year-olds here in the group, but I guess everyone wants to talk more about baby sleep. Maybe it's that kind of week. And I apologize, I haven't been here this week. I was sick, like I said, got my voice back. I'll be back and going, taking off tomorrow, again, just for a little R&R, but I'll be back full-fledged next week with our Monday question threads. Remember, if you ever have a question about a certain topic and you see it there, post it, because that's when you will understand an idea more in depth. Like I said, early rising, newborn sleep, swaddling, cat naps, waking up multiple times throughout the night. All the videos we have in here are based on those, so we can always get knee-deep with those. If you have a question in general, use #SleepQ. I know I wasn't here this week so much, and I'm sorry, but use #SleepQ next week, and I will be in here most days answering your questions, and getting in groove so I can help you. Stay tuned. We have some exciting things happening next week in the group that I will be announcing, and just have an amazing weekend. That is really it for today. I missed you all so much. I'm happy to get back in here, and hit me up with any questions you have. You can always tag me, tag our amazing team of admins. Don't forget, we have Aubrey, Anna, Alexandra, Allison, and Jenny, aside from me, and they are amazing moms. Some of them are a little bit more educated in sleep also, so they can help you more about that, but they just know a lot and have been very present in the group and are an amazing resource, so don't forget to also use them and their knowledge, and I hope you all have an amazing Thursday, amazing Friday. I will be back in here on Monday, so I will see you then.